So excited about this one. Greg Hague, our old buddy, the Stop Zillow guy. You can go back to episode number one of The Real Word.
And two.
I feel
like there were a few episodes.
We were talking about when he had the big Stop Zillow push. We ended up getting on a Facebook Live debate with Greg. We flew out to his launch of the Stop Zillow
he welcomed
movement.
us into his home. It was beautiful.
Yeah, it was very beautiful, Greg. Thank you for that.
Yes.
And that was really the start of The Real Word. Anyways, his
He's
Stop
back.
Zillow movement.
Or actually, I feel like he's been. We just haven't heard anything.
No, he's always been there. He's a very, very successful real estate guy in Arizona.
He definitely bobs and weaves, man. I mean,
yeah.
Bless his heart. And he loves being on video, which is even better.
He's super successful guy. Again, beautiful home. Scottsdale, Arizona. He's always had a thriving brokerage. And the Stop Zillow movement, which he collected a whole bunch of donations for, by the way,
money.
Went into this company called Buyer Hunt. BuyerHunt.com is still up. We checked that out today.
We did. We kind of got a little euphoric because
Yeah.
the commercial was still on there that he launched that night.
But that's not the reason we're talking about Greg. That's not why he's back in our news. Got an email from our buddy JD, follower of the show. JD is also out there in Arizona. JD sent us an email and said, hey, you guys should be talking about your old buddy Greg, the Zillow Buster, and his new company. He has a new pitch called 72sold.com. I thought maybe Buyer Hunt turned into 72
No,
Sold.
but he was smart because he
Looks
kept
like two
Buyer
different
Hunt. He
companies.
pushed some money into that, but I think the Buyer Hunt
yep.
and the 72 Sold are very much married together at this point.
He's on a whole bunch of TVs. He's been on Fox, NBC, Yahoo Finance, Forbes, Business Wire, U.S. News, ABC, CBS, 472
He should add
Sold.
the Real Word on there too.
Now he could add the Real Word next to all of those. There you go. All right, so this is what JD sent us in email. They're using coming soon, which is what Buyer Hunt basically was.
That was exactly what it was.
Was glorified coming soon, to list a home for 72 hours before they allow showings. I'm wondering why Buyer Hunt is still branded and now 72 Sold. Is it because Buyer Hunt lost a bunch of money and now he learned from that?
But Buyer Hunt was based more on getting a buyer lead. He's now working on seller leads.
No, Buyer Hunt was buyers seeing these coming soon properties before they hit the MLS because they were missing out on it.
But they were definitely marketing it towards buyers. He wanted to get,
It was an advantage for buyers to see properties before they sold out from underneath them.
So he was putting listings on.
You were seeing things come on to Zillow 24 hours for 72 hours after they hit the MLS. Properties already sold. Buyer drives by like, what the heck? I saw it on Zillow.
So you're putting it on Buyer Hunt before you put it on. I think it's just the name. I mean, I think he's selling.
So, anyways,
72 Sold
that,
certainly
I'm wondering if he's just kind of like
more catchy.
Moving over here, learning from past mistakes, and now he's got
the job.
This company. Anyways, JD had a client that wanted to see one of the 72 sold listings. It was a $400,000 listing in Arizona. They put it up for 72 hours, and they had an open house for 1 hour. A 1 hour open house. JD and his buyer showed up in the second half, and they were the 23rd group through the property. The street was lined with cars, 7 to 8 groups of buyers and their agent huddling outside talking about the home. So think about how ecstatic you are if you're the seller, right? Are you not happy with that kind of performance?
I'm thrilled.
He thought it was brilliant. JD thought it was brilliant. You bring all these buyers in, you see how much competition they have. But the buyers were left feeling like...
His buyers.
Yep. His particular buyers. So there's 23 plus buyers, right?
Well, he was at the second half, so double that.
And the buyers were left feeling like there was no shot at winning out in their particular financing situation. And so JD started to think, is this approach good or bad? Does it drive up the price or does it discourage other buyers from even making an offer? He's curious what our take on this approach is. Nicole, what's your take? Is it good, bad, driving up the price? If you go on the website, the first thing they ask you for is get a price on your home today. So the process here with 72 Sold is they're giving you the price of what you've got to list at. You don't have to do any showings. They're saying right here on the website, the advantage here is it's a short commitment. You have to sign a long lengthy listing agreement, no one-off showings. So you're not inconvenienced by a bunch of showings at random times. It's a specific price, and you eliminate uncertainty because of that short period of time. You are going to sell the home for a specific price or more in a short period of time, but all the buttons here, get a price on the home, get a price on the home. So they send you a price on the home. That's the price, which is going to be lower, by the way. It's the old school mentality.
They call it schwepping.
What is that? Schwepping.
Schweppy.
No.
Yes, we've been over this term before.
Oh, have we?
They call it schwepping. You schwepp it, like you underlist it to drive up the price. It's called schwepping.
Well, I would say it's just old school classic way of listing a home, right? Basically, you give a seller 3 prices. Hey, do you want to list in the middle at market value, or do you want to overprice your listing and get a very small segment of buyers actually seeing your home, or do you want to list it under market value, expose it to every single buyer possible, expose it to other price ranges that you wouldn't have had at market value or above market value, get a potential for a bidding war, and drive the price up. They're listing it under market value, getting tons and tons and tons of buyers through a 1-hour open house, creating a feeding frenzy, and then a bidding war to bid the price up.
Right.
So is it good or bad?
I think it's great.
You love it.
I think it's fabulous. Why not?
Why do you love it, Nicole?
Well, I mean, I guess my biggest concern here is if I was bringing a buyer, though, is that if it never really got to the price that the seller wanted, I mean, maybe I'm assuming that the seller probably doesn't even really have to end up selling in the end either, right?
Doesn't say that online, but I'm assuming when they say specific price that if you don't hit your number, then you can bounce out.
Right. It's sort of
you
like
can always turn down deals.
Of course. It's sort of like that, like auctioning a house, right? If you don't get to a number, you don't get it. But anyway,
it's a better way of auctioning.
I think it's great. I mean, I'll be honest though, I don't know that, again, if I'm a consumer, this is happening right now pretty much across the country. So I don't know that you need greg72soul.com in order to accomplish what he's presenting here.
Well,
you think you do?
I don't think you need it in particular, but he has a strategy and a duplicatable formula to getting these homes sold in 72 hours. Now, could you, as an agent in wherever, Pennsylvania, could you just come up with the same formula and execute on it? Absolutely.
Yes.
But to Greg's credit here, he's been on, all these news outlets. What a great branding and advertising platform.
Well, because he has lines and people are talking about it. I mean, we're getting emails from JD. Obviously, buyers are concerned about it. Buyers are feeling like they're being left out. I will say, I think for the seller, this is a great thing. And in JD's situation, his VA buyer was concerned. So I mean, again, is it sort of wiping out some certain buyers? Yes, but I guess for the seller, like hell, if I can get a cash buyer over list price that doesn't want any inspections, dude, I did exactly what I was supposed to do for my seller, 100%.
And that's where that financed buyer probably thought to themselves, look at all these people, look at all the competition. You gotta imagine.
And as a VA buyer, you're probably 100% financing. You thought it was all up against you. I do think in that situation, I still would have put something in. If I was JD, I probably would have told them to write a little note, tell them their story, pull at the heartstring a little, get them to really sort of engage with the story.
I was never a believer in the letters, but I have seen just so many sellers now want to read the letter, make decisions based off the letter. The buyer letter is a real thing.
It is especially in this market. I think that, we're seeing a lot of people living in the homes that we're seeing come on the market right now I feel personally are homes that have been in the family for a while. And they're now finally selling because they feel like they're finally able to get what they can more than what, right. Yeah. So I do think that there's an emotional attachment there now to sellers. Obviously, I think that they do want the most money, but I think if the numbers are so close and there's a little story attached to it, I mean, gosh, it just, there's so much more vested in it too. And you feel like you're making a decision, not just based on greed, but, based on like real people too.
It's a huge advantage for the seller. I also think this is a better option if you want the quick sale.
Oh, instead of like a Zillow purchase?
A Zillow or an open door.
Yeah.
It's a much better option than selling potentially below market value. This is your highest chance at getting above market value in a very short and certain period of time. Maybe we'll be hitting up our old buddy Greg and seeing if we can bring 72 sold out here to Connecticut.
Holla.
You know?
That'll be fun. We're coming for you, Greg.
Greg, hit us up.
We miss you.
We want to come back, too.
We do.
We miss Arizona.
We do. And your beautiful wife and your children. I remember meeting his son in his kitchen.
Yes.
Yeah.